Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to create a div for now. And this div here, I don't want to add anything. I just want to select it here. So let's select my div and let's give it a width of 200 pixel, for example. Maybe the width should be a little bit bigger. Let's make it 300 pixel and the height, I will make it to 200 pixel. Width and let's just see height, it's 200 pixel. I'll make the background color just to see it here now. Something like black, for example. Okay. So if I go now and open it in my live server here, go live. Well, I'll see my div here. There's nothing in it, just only my div here. Fine, let's go to the first property here, which is what we call transform. If I want to transform or move this div on the x-axis, this is the x-axis, 15 pixel, and on the y-axis, 100 pixel, I can use this property, which is called transform. What do I mean by that? Now, if we go back, where is it? Where is it? Remember, where is the object here? What I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this space here, this margin here, and this margin here. I will move the object here exactly to this point. So you remember where was its position. To do so, what should I do to get rid of this extra space? Can anyone tell me? What should I do?
Margin and padding 0.
True. By the way, I forgot to explain the box module for you, which is super important. Margin, I'll make it 0. And padding, I'll make it 0. And there is another important property, which is
box sizing, border box.
sizing border box. I did not explain this one, unfortunately. I need to explain it because it's super important. If I go back now, as you can see, my element now here is the left and the top. I don't have any margin. I have no space at all. So what do I want to do now? I want to implement this property because I want to see this property here. So transform, the property transform, that means I'm gonna move it, let's say, translate, I'm using translate here, 15 pixel and 100 pixel. So as the x-axis, 15 pixel, the y-axis, of course, that's the x-axis, and the y-axis is the vertical one. So let's use this property, transform here. I'm just gonna say transform. And of course, when you say transform, you see you have a lot of property. You can rotate it, you can rotate X, rotate Y, rotate Z, scale, and yes, you can skew. So you can use, I want you just translate like that. So translate. Now I can move it on the X axis only if I want to, or the Y axis only if I want to, or I can just add X and Y. For example, I can move it on the X axis by 20 pixel, and by the y-axis by 10 pixels for now, for example. So I go here and I notice my element has been moved a little bit. And of course, I'm going to inspect it now. I'm going to increase this one here. So my element here, when I'm saying translate element, notice when I'm increasing the X on the X-axis, see? It's moving here. It's making more space on the X-axis. If I say translate on the Y-axis, now it will move in down here. Simple as it is. So it simply is moving an object or an element from one point to another point if you want to. Is transform, translate, is okay or not?
Yes, but Samir, I have a question. But we can do the same things with the margin and the float.
You are right. You are right. But I'm not telling you that this property you need to use. I'm trying just to explain this property. Most of the time, I don't think rarely you're gonna use this property.
Okay.
Okay. So transition here, yeah, maybe in some, and if you will make some animation here. Most of the time, I think you'll use this animation here, but you don't have to use them. I'm just explaining that this property exists. Okay, clear guy or not? Okay, let's go to the second property here, which is rotate. Rotate, of course, it's just either you rotate it clockwise or counterclockwise. So let's just say, rotate like that. It was not this one. I should change. So I say transform here, and now here I should just choose rotate. Let me remove this one. Rotate like that, and either it will be a degree. The unit is the degree actually, dig, if I'm not mistaken. The unit is degree should be. Let's see here, and as you can see here now, now is you are rotating 20 degree. So it's moving here. Of course, if you click on this one, now you can control it if you see. So your dev tools help you actually. You can move it counterclockwise or whisk clockwise as you like, as you can see. No problem at all. Is rotate is okay. Just no.
Yes.
Should be simple.
Yes.
What's the other property? Let's see. So we've seen translate, we've seen, so x-axis, y-axis, we've seen rotate, yeah. Now you can scale x, that means increase the width of x if you want to, here, if you want, for example, 3 times here, 10 times, 20 times. You can do the same with y, or you can, of course, use scale here and use x and y. I'm going to use this property here, which is x and y. So let me remove this one here, and I will just use a scale. Remember the width of my, before I do that. Yeah, just a second. Let me add a close tag, and let me just comment this one. Now, before I add any scale, notice if I click on my element and I go to compute, how much is the width of my element? How much is the width and height? It's written here, huh?
300 and height 200 pixel.
So the width of my element is 300 and the 300 and the height is 200. So it's written here, and this is my element. I don't have any padding, I don't have any border, I don't have any margin. This box is what we call the box module. So the box module says, in very simple terms, that each HTML element is considered like a box, as you can see here. Any element is considered like box. So you will normally have the elements that will be the real elements, the content of the element. You can have some space around the content and the border of the element. That's what we call padding. And of course, the border, you know what is the border here? It's just a line around the element. And also you can have the margin, but the margin here is the space between the border of the element and another element. Is the idea clear? What is padding? What is border? What is margin?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to give you an example. When I'm finished with this stuff, I'm going to give you an example because it's quite important, actually. So 300 by 200. Now let's go use this property here. Okay, now my x, it was 300. Let's double it, for example. I think I can use 2. And for my height, it was 200. And let's triple it, for example. And let's see if that will work. Yeah, my element now is grow bigger, actually. Clicking. Yeah, it should show me the element differently. But if I inspect now, of course, now the element here now, it's not as it was, because now I modify the element. I rescale the width and rescale the height. So if you go back here, I make the width 2 times. So it was 300. Now it should be 600. And this one was 200. I increase it 3 times. Now 600 by 600. Now this one should be 600. This one should be 600. This one should be 600 and 600 pixels. Is it okay how to scale an element? Do you know what's the idea or not? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. Of course, you can use scale. So you can use only scale X only if you want to, or Y only. So I think there is property here called scale X only, Y only, and Z if you want to as well. Z is the direction it's coming from, as front and back. That's the Z direction, as we see. Okay, what other property do we have? Let's click, not you. So we've seen this one. Let's see just the skew here, and it's with degree as well. I think maybe if we take X alone and Y alone, it will be more clear. So let's try skew. Skew X, let's say by 20 degrees. So see, it's like, it's giving it's just like, yeah, before it was like that. Now it's skewing, just moving it here with an angle, as I told you. And of course, this angle, you can increase it or decrease it depending on your need. Where's my element? Because I'm in this one. Of course, skew also, you can do it just like rotate here. As you can see, you can increase it, decrease it, and see how it will look like as you like. Voilà. So your dev tool help you actually to see it in a better way. Is the idea clear? Should be. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So here I can also rotate an element in different angles. So I can, or different axis. I can rotate by X, by Y, by Z, make it like a 3D if I want to. So I can do it. Yeah, it's possible to do even skew with X axis, Y axis, Z axis. So you can use this property in many multiple directions. So 2D transforms, that means just I have two axes, X and Y. But 3D, that means I have X and I have Y and also I have Z. And Z is what come to my face and back. You can use the same property here if you want to. That's the only difference here. So here, rotate X, I can rotate X, I can rotate Y, I can rotate Z if I want to. I'm not sure if rotate Z, it will be quite clear. So let's try it. Rotate 3D Z here, and let's check an angle. I think if I'm not mistaken, I can say 13 degrees. Let's see, that would work. Actually, it's working. So now that's X. Now that's Z. Now Z direction here, it's actually a little bit difficult to see because my element here, I just have X and Y. It's not like 3D direction. But if I rotate it here, it look like it's X, but actually it's not X. It's the Z direction here. It's happening. You use it a lot with animation. So if you are not using animation, probably you rarely use the Z axis, except for the Z index to show an element above another element. Is the idea clear? Yes, no.
Yes.
But you will not use again Z axis a lot unless you are really dealing with 3D stuff, which is actually not our job, but anyway. So again, I will just emphasize that's the X axis. Okay, that's the Y axis. So the Y axis, so X and Y axis coming like that. So it's vertical, the Y axis. This is horizontal, and the other one, which is the Z, is coming like that. That's the Z. So it's coming to my face here. It's front, back, the Z axis here. We should be clear. What else do we need? Transform, we see it, transition. Yeah, let's see this one. Transition, background color. So to apply some transition, what's the transition doing? It's allowed to change some property over some time, given duration. So if I want to change the background, for example, for 3 seconds or after 3 seconds or something like that, I can use this transition. Let's take an example here. First, before that, to do the transition, I need a property, CSS property, and after that, I need to define the time, as the time all the time in second. For example, let's make the background color here. I will take the same example, red. I will say transition, and I will say what's the property I want to make it transition, make it change. And for example, here is the background color. What is the duration I want? Well, it's 3 seconds. And after that, here I can change it when I hover over the element here, add another property. Now for the transition, you can add the transition property, which will be the background color. In my example, it could be any property. It could be, for example, I don't know, It could be the color, it could be any CSS property, you can use it. After that, you can use a duration. So the duration I told you in second. Then you have time function. You can make it linear. You can make it ease. Linear, that means it will be no different at all. Ease, that means it easy, ease, actually ease in, that means it's coming slowly in, if I'm not mistaken. Ease out, that means it's slowly fading, finishing. Ease in and out, you can try these different property. So what they are doing here is just when the animation start here, it starts slowly, and after that it fade quickly, or the opposite. And of course, the delay, it will be 1 second. You can use these 4 property separately, or you can put them, all of them in this property, just called transition, background. And here I'm just adding the transition duration here, which is 3 seconds. Maybe we can actually see the time function as well. So let's go here. What do I want? Background color, I have it. Actually, I can use transform here, but not X. I want it to be X, not Z. X like that. And now what I want to do, I need to say transition, if I'm not mistaken. Transition. And after that, I need to transition something, which will be, for example, transform, let's say. Transform. Not sure it will work, but let's see. Transition, transform, and I want to have it in 3 seconds. So let's see if that will work or not. Actually, it is working, which is nice. Let's go to my dev tools here, the style here. So what I'm doing here now, when I say transition here, it will rotate the x-axis by 13 degrees, and that will happen just the duration, it will be just in 3 seconds. So let me refresh and see again what will happen. Why, what the hell happened? Just make it 10 seconds. Guys, anyone know why it's not working?
Try to write the property transform iteration count infinity to keep moving.
Yeah, but as you can see, the property, I got it here. I want the duration to be 10 seconds. That's all I need. Transition duration. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So duration here is not 30 seconds. I want to make it like 120 seconds. But still not working. Okay, let's me add this transition on hover. So I will say div. When I hover over it, I want this property to be applied. So let's see. Yeah, but I don't have my element at all now. Div. Let's add the same property here for now. And here's a color. I'll make it red. And let's see. Yeah, now the color is being implemented, but the rotate, it is not being implemented. I don't know why. Let's make, I don't know why transform is not working. It should work actually.
Try to write all, just all. No, all is transform, the name of the property, yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, all. It will take all the... Yeah, but now you need to add the duration also.
But duration, no, let's see, 13 seconds, let's see. No, it's not rotating, it's not working.
30 seconds, it's a lot.
let's just 1 second. Let's see. Oh no, actually it's working now. It's not working. It was just the duration. I make it really big, so that's why it's not working. Okay, let me try transform again. Transform. See? Yeah, it's transforming actually in a strange way, if I'm not mistaken. But why try? No, I need to rotate it X degree. What is rotation is not working. Okay, I'm trying another property. I want the background color to be background color, let's say. It should work, but it is not working. Let's take 2 seconds and see. No, it's working a little bit, but let me change the color to something else. I don't need to hover now. Just give me a few seconds. Let's do some experiment here. So the background color here. I need to define it by blue, and after that, let's see the width. Nothing is happening.
Yeah, you delete the hover, Samir.
But yes, I delete the hover, I know. Delete hover. Let me see if I can find another example. I don't know why it's not working. So here it's the property we are using is transition. Transition in CSS example. Let's click on this one. So we have transition property, that's what we are doing. Transition duration, that's what we are doing. The time function here, delay. Delay after that, that's the last one. So here we are taking the font size and make it 36. So font size is 14. Okay. Property here, font size 2 seconds, and here I need to change it. Okay. So what I need to do, actually, I need to add all the property here in the element itself. And after that on hover, I need to change this font size, for example. Okay, so here on hover, I need to change the background color, I suppose, if I'm not mistaken. So transition background color and say 2 seconds here. This should be the time, actually, should be more, 9, for example. And here I want the background color to be something else. Background color. Black, for example. I don't want the background color. No, I want the width, for example. The width, it will be a little bit more interesting, actually. Width, let's make it, I don't know, 1,000 pixel. And let's see if that will work or not. Yeah, and as you can see, if I hover over the element, now is the transition happening, the width is increasing. And yeah, after a while, as you can see now, it's decreasing here. Voila. So with transition here, all you have to do, you have to specify in transition, you need to specify what property do you want to change. Do you want the height? Do you want the width? Do you want the background color? And here it should be the duration. And duration, that means it will take this animation or this transition here, it will happen for 9 seconds as the duration. And you can use the hover here, and then you change any property you want to. In my case, I'm using the width here. So if you are using the width with the transition, you need to change the width after that to see it's being changed. Simply like that. Clear a little bit or not? Yeah?
Yes.
Good. Let's click on hover. So hover here, it will be just on hover. Click like that. Okay, that should be fine. That's enough with transition. The last one we need to discuss here is the keyframes, and after that, we will be done with this animation, guys. So what is a keyframe here? What is animation? So animation allow you to change a CSS property to another property. So change this style during a specific time, let's say. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say I have a div here, and in this div, I want to change something. I want to add an animation. I want to make it, for example, move to some place, to another place. I want to change the x-axis. I want to change the y-axis, and I want it to happen, for example, and the duration happen in 10 seconds. Let's say 10 seconds. But now I want to do when I want in 5 seconds, I want to go in one position, but after 10 seconds, I want to go to another position. The way we do that, you need to implement something called keyframes. So how can we create a keyframes? You just in your CSS, you say add keyframes, and you need to give it a name. And so after you give it a name here, you just need curly braces, and then what do you want to happen on 0 second? Of course, 0 seconds, that means the time. Let's say in my case, I have, let's say 10 seconds. 10 seconds, that means 0 second here was us when the animation start and when the time start here. 25%, that means it will be quarter of 10 seconds, which is 2.5 seconds. 15%, that means after 5 seconds. 75, that means after 7.5 second, and 100% after 10 seconds. So what do you want to happen? And you can specify any property you want to. For example, in the beginning, I want the background to be red. I want my element to be left to be 0 and top to be 0. But after if the time is 10 seconds, after 2.5 seconds, I want the background to be yellow, and I want the element to move to the left 200 pixels. On top, I don't want any change. Same idea here. After 5 seconds, I want the element, the color to be blue, and I want the left to move, no left, no movement, but top, I want to move it 200 pixels. After that, after 7.5 seconds, I want the background to turn to green, and the left here, I want to be 0. The top, I don't want any changes. And after 10 seconds, I want the background to be red again, and then left be 0, and the top to be 0. So you will specify different property. And here, of course, 0% here, it's of the time you are specifying. And then here, what you come here, you can just say, what is the animation name? Well, it's the name of the keyframe here. So box move. How much time do you want to change? So animation duration, I want it to be 10 seconds. So this animation here, the time 100% here, it will be 10 seconds. That means 15% here, it will be 5 seconds. Animation delay. So how much time you need to wait until this animation start? I just wanted to delay 2 seconds. So after, when I open my page, or when I go to a specific property, it will wait 2 seconds, then it will start this animation. How many times I want this animation to repeat? Well, you can use infinite if you want it to repeat all the time, or you can use it, for example, any number you want it to. For example, if I say 3, the animation will be repeated 3 times and then it will stop. If I say infinite, it will not stop at all. It will keep moving. That's simply the keyframe or simple animation. Is it okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Let's try to do one here. And in the keyframe here, I'm gonna use, let's get rid of this one. I'm gonna just say at keyframe, for example, and you can see here keyframe, it will be identifier. I will give it a name. Let's say box move, for example, or any name you want to. I'll name it box move, for example. And of course, you need to specify here 0%, how much. So in 0%, how much, what do you want to happen? And after, it's totally up to you, by the way. You can not define 0%. You can define, for example, 25% if you want to. So this is totally up to you. 25%, 15%. Here, we have 75%. Again, you don't have to specify all these property. You can specify depending on your need. And I want to, when it's finished, what happened. So what I'm going to do here, instead of, I'm just going to copy this property here. So I want the background color to be the same color here. And I will change this one. I'll change this one. Of course, I need to change the color according to my need. Otherwise, it will not happen. So what I'm doing here, so 0, 0 here, I'm just changing the left to 200 pixels. So left, let's make it 200. And what was the color? Let's make it blue, for example. And here now I need to change the top as well. So left, I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna keep it 200. And top, I wanna make it also 200. And after that, I think what it was changed here, I make it 0. So let's make the left 0 and the top, let's make it 200. And in here, let's make both of them 200 at the end. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's change this color to something else. Green. Let's change this color to something else. Blue, for example. And I need one, at the end, I want to be red. So what's happening here, it will start red. And the element here, it will be not moved, it will be stuck to this left 0 and top 0. And after that, the element will be, the color will change, and the element it will move left 200 pixels this way. And then after that, it will change the color, and it will move also from the top to 100%. Then the left, it will be 0, so it will move in the axis, it will be 0 again. As the top still 200, the color will change, and after that, it will go back to its position. Of course, to define this one, I just need to say animation name. So what's the animation name? So I can add the name. What is the animation name?
Box move.
Exactly. So it will be my box moves as a name. Of course, you can put all this property on one line, or you can change it. Duration, how much do I want? Let's set it 20 seconds. Function, time function, I will not add it. So is in, is out, stuff like that. I don't want to do it. Delay, I don't want to do it. But if I'm not, if I don't specify everything, I cannot write it this way. So I need to remove all of those actually. Yeah, but delay, I need to do it actually. Time function. Let's remove this one and add time function. I have no other choice. So maybe is in, is out. For example, delay, I want it to be 3 seconds. And the iteration count, I want it to be 10 times. Direction, I don't care. Fill mode, I don't care. I'm just gonna specify this one. And now if I go to my property here, refresh. And as you can see, the color is changing, but it's not moving. Why is it not moving?
Because there is no position.
Indeed. And now if I make as a position, now it will work. Now let's wait. And as you can see now here, the left is become 200 pixels here, the color change. Now the top become 200 pixels, the color change. Now it will make the left here 0, the color will change. And after that, now it will make top 0 and the color will become red again. And iteration, we said 10 times, right? Yeah, I think 10 times. So it will happen 10 times. Of course, you can play with this one, is in, is out. If you want to, you can change them. The duration here, you can play with it a little bit. The count, you can play with it. As simply it is. This one is quite important, actually. You may use it a lot if you want to move an element or do something. Transition, skew, stuff like that. You rarely use them, but this keyframe is quite important, actually. We use it sometimes. Is the idea clear? Yeah, no, maybe.
Yes.
Good.
But I have a question, Samir.
Yes.
They move from the right, from the left to the right, and how we put it in the right to move to the left?
Well, so what you mean, you don't want it here? You want it here in the other side?
Yes.
Well, it's quite simple. Instead of using a left here, you can use just right. And here, I will just change this one to right. And if you don't like the top, you can add bottom. So it's quite simple here. All of them must be right. You just change the properties, that's it. Right. In here should be right. We should be good. Let's go. And refresh. Why is not moved? And because my element here is yeah, but I need to, let's add the property here, and I say the top is 0, fine. So I make top 0 pixel, and now here I'll make the right 0 pixel. Let's see if it will work. No.
Samir, because you give all the frames right, it will not move in the animation. It will start from 0 at right, and then it will move to left.
No, because here it should start from right 0, top 0. So it should be
At,
here.
at 25%, it will move to left a little bit, left a little bit. Now you are saying to the animation, stay in the right. How it will move? It will begin from the right, and then it will move to the left. This is the question of Rodika, I think. Right, Rodika?
Yes.
But now the top should be 0. Now the original position of the element top should be 0 pixel. It should be, no, it's not pixel, actually, it's 0 if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Just give me a second, just give me a second. Top is 0, right? Let me just step the animation here. Top 0, right? But it actually shouldn't be like that because
Because the position relative, and it should be the body relative, and
yeah, let me just make it absolute. So it's not relative, let me make it absolute. And let's go to the body here and make it relative. No, actually, we don't need that because it will compare with the HTML, so it doesn't matter. So let me make it relative, top 0, right 0. Now it should work. Let's see. And voila, now it's working. So you just need to make the position absolute, Rodika, and after that, top 0 or right 0. And if you don't like top, you can make it bottom, by the way. Let's do it the bottom here. I'm going to change it to the bottom. But here now I need to change all the property to bottom. Bottom, the last one is what I care about. So let's see. Now my animation starts, so it's just jump to the top. It will move, and after that, it will come to the bottom. Is the idea clear, Rodika?
Yes, thank you.
Any other question? This one is quite important. You will use it. The other one, transform, you're rarely going to use it, but this keyframe, actually, it's quite important. Yeah. Let me stop recording.